All right, well, here we are on another Thursday, and we have another weekly webinar to present to you guys today that are joining us. Dave and I were bantering a little bit. We know that the W word is coming, which is winter, and where would we all like to go? Hawaii might be a good destination, which I've never been to, but we were just discussing a little bit about Hawaii, and Dave had some pretty interesting facts, so a shout out to any printers in Hawaii, and we know we have one, but not sure who else is out there. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So actually, I'm just looking at the attendee list, and I see that we have one on the other state number 49. We see an Alaska representative in our audience here too. So we'll cover all the newcomer states here.
There we go.
Here's the Hawaii. Actually, I can tie them both together too. I'll really go off the rails here, but here's the random trivia, just that Trish and I were bantering about earlier. Just think as we started thinking of Hawaii. I just recently learned this. Maybe this is old news to a lot of people, but no surprise perhaps that Hawaii is actually a collection of more than 100 islands, and a lot of them are all really tiny, small, uninhabited islands. And here's what I learned is that the 8 largest islands are the ones that are inhabited. No, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. There's 8
7 largest.
The top 7 are inhabited, and the 7th largest island of Hawaii is actually privately owned and used exclusively for agriculture. So I thought that was kind of randomly interesting. Now, spoiler alert, and I'm already setting up this next random trivia with the easy answer. So I see Rob from Alaska in our list here today of attendees. And so what I also learned is that there are 2 states that have never seen a 100-degree Fahrenheit temperature. One of them, of course, is Alaska. And the other one is, well, you can probably figure it out now just by the way I've presented it, is
Hawaii.
It is Hawaii, because it is surrounded by water that keeps it nice and regulated, no temperature ups and downs. So, all right, I'm done
Pretty
being
cool.
useless information. Let's get going on why we're here.
No problem. We can always have trivia time at the beginning of these, and we'll all learn something besides websites. So, but speaking of websites, so for those that are new today or have not seen these before, this webinar is available to watch past webinars or sign up. And I did that a little quick here. Right above the Help Center on your control center of your website, there's a View Weekly website tutorials link. That'll take you here, and scrolling down, you can view past webinars, and you can also sign up for these. So good resource for all different topics that we've covered in the control center. Some really have dove into deep, and some are, they're still pretty deep, but maybe depending on the subject, not as much, but good resource for our webinars. Continuing on, we have gone over the website builder, the workflow page, the web page tab. We're onto my website. We're under ecom settings, and right where I'm located is promotional codes. Promotional codes allows you to provide a discount code for your print buyers. It can be applied one of many ways. You can apply it to everybody on your website. You can apply it to particular companies, branches, or contacts. You can apply it to a particular order form, or you can apply it to an order form category. I'll just show you high level on some of that. I'm gonna add an I'm gonna add a promo code, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like when your print buyers check out on where they enter that. We're just gonna call this Thursday webinar promo code. And this is how you know what it's called on the back end. For your print buyers to check out to add the promo code, whatever you call it in this promo code is what they would use to check out. So we'll just call it, webinar 20. I'm going to be generous and give them 20% or $20 depending on. The discount type, a percent discount allows you to add in, like I mentioned, maybe you want to give a 20% discount or 10% or whatever, and you can max out the dollar amount that you want them to take off. So if you want to max out that they can take up to $250 off of that percentage, or the total, you don't want them to take off more than $250, you can set a maximum dollar amount. If you didn't want to use a percentage discount, you can use a flat rate discount, flat out dollar amount, I don't know, a $50 discount, a $100 discount, whatever it is that they check out with, you can allow them to enter in the promo code and receive that flat dollar amount. I'm going to use a percent discount. I'm going to leave it at 20%, and I'm going to create this new promo code. I kind of call this part one, is creating the promotional code. And some other areas that you've seen in here, I might consider it part one. You want to add any promo code that you would like to be made available to your customers and prospects as they check out. Part two, under accounts, account settings, you'll see there's a promotional code tab here. I'm actually going to refresh this. You'll see the one that I just added on the previous tab, Thursday webinar promo code. You would need to make sure to check whatever promo codes you want to apply. And when you do that, you can decide if you want to have unlimited use or if you want to have single use. I'm going to leave it at unlimited use. So that means the print shop or your website will know if they've already used it, they can use it again. If I set it to single use, the website knows they've already used the promo code. It will not let them use it again. And then high level, you can use the people filter to drill down to a company, branch, or contact to apply the promo code. I'm going to save changes, and I have queued up a checkout screen here where in theory, I should only have to refresh to show you what I'm going to show you at the bottom here. So here is step one. I could review my order, but I'm not going to right now. Step two, these are shipping options, and don't mind my mess. I've done a lot going on. Step three is payment options. I'm going to leave it at invoice. When your print buyers scroll down, they can see the subtotal, if there's any tax that is applied. And then here we go is apply promo code. So whether you send a email, whether you send any sort of promotional material, if you promote the promo code on your website, if your print buyer knows what that promo code is, they can enter that at the end here. And of course, I don't remember what I added. It was webinar 20. I'm just going to copy that into my clipboard of my computer here, keyboard and paste. Click apply code, and the website will take off. There's my 20% there off my subtotal of $10, so $2 there. The question mark, your print buyer can hover over, and they can see what the promo code is applied. And if for any reason they wanted to remove it, they could, but I wouldn't think somebody would. And then they can continue on and complete their order. I did mention that a promo code can be applied, I think I mentioned, at an order form or category level. So real quick, and we'll get to this again when we get further on with order forms, product category. If you were to edit a product category, there is a promotional code tab. You can apply a promo code at a category level. Similar, if we were to go to either a public or a private order form and you click edit, on the left there is a promotional codes tab in the editor. And again, you can select the promo code that you would want to make available to this order form, and then you would save. So just to recap, back here under e-commerce settings, promo codes is where you add it. If you go under accounts, account settings, this is one of the areas where you would apply it if it's related to a company, branch, or contact. Otherwise, you would go under the order forms tab and decide if it needs to be added to a category or an order form itself. And then finally, where I was showing you, this is how this would be perceived from your print buyers when they go to checkout and they apply the promo code. It will automatically take that discount before they complete their order. So that's kind of a whirlwind of promo codes, Dave.
Yeah, so one of the biggies that I'm hearing here, and well, the thing here is once you get it to this point on this page where you're actually defining the promo code, you can define it, but it's completely worthless and pointless until you add it to either a group of people, a category, or an order form. That's where the connections starts to happen and allow it to exist, correct?
That is right on. That's why I many times present these parts of the control center as part one, because we don't want printers to forget to go to the account settings as part two and make sure they check the ones that they've added, whether it's a payment, a shipping, a promo code. You want to make sure you apply it properly. So you are correct.
Yeah, so super important area of the website. We'll get to that one at a future webinar, this accounts setting area. Lots of power in there. That's where some of these big picture things that we're talking about really can start to dial in exactly right into the usage on the website.
Right. Yep. When we get to the accounts tab and we go through account settings, we'll kind of go full circle and we'll cover this again. But it is related to back under this tab under my website ecom settings, which as you're seeing, we're going through the various tabs. So they're related but separate. All right. Moving on, we have an all-important job status tab. When you first start out with us, depending on if you have a demo site or you're just getting going, there's probably less here. I don't know how much I've messed around, but you have the option to add a new job status, to edit what is available, to delete one if you don't want it. You can move the order of a job status. How this comes into play. And it says a little bit right here. They're available to use with online job tickets on your website. So when orders come into workflow, you can move around job statuses. When your print buyers are logged into their account summary, they can watch and see the job as it moves through if you use this to move a job. And what I mean by that, if I have this called up, I have an order that I had placed, and if you scroll down to an order, there's a work in progress tab and a status update tab. You may certainly move around your jobs into a status that matches your flow of the work in your print shop. So maybe it came into production, but then let's say it's on to bindery, whatever is considered bindery or finishing. You can move your job to this status. You get a pop-up. Do you want to notify your customer with an email to let them know that it's moved to a different job status? You can say yes. They will get an email, and it'll allow them to click to log into their account to see where that is. Or if you don't want to bother them with an email, you can simply say no, which I did, and there's a thank you, it's been updated. So I moved this job from in production to in bindery. And what's nice about that, in the job journal, it'll say that it's in bindery and finishing, and I moved it. To go a little bit further, if I look from the eyeglasses of this print buyer, and I don't know how long this is going to take to call up, but I'll show you in the account summary for your print buyers, they can see this job in that particular tab. So orders, work in progress, and if I scroll down to in bindery and finishing, again, this list of job statuses matches the job statuses that are found showing up here for you in the workflow. This is also the same order that you can adjust back under the first tab here under e-commerce job status. So there's quite a few areas that the job statuses show up, but your print buyers will see, oh, there's my job in the in bindery and finishing. And of course they can go and look at it, and if they need to do anything or want to look at it more, they can. So the order of the job will flow with your print buyers and their account summary. And then once the job is complete, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but this would show as complete, and the job would go into their completed tab here. So there's a lot of powerful components, or a lot that can be done with the job status. But just keep in mind that this, depending on how you want to use it, you'd want to set it up to reflect the flow of jobs through your print shop.
Trish, can you go back to the order where we had the squares? Yeah, there. 'Cause I would like to suggest a best practice, or just really, well, here's what I want to say is, as you're moving it across, and if you would, you just move it to another one. And I want to bring up that message again right there. So you might be thinking, like, why would you ever click yes or no? And I would suggest that the only reason that you want to click no, I don't want to send that email, the only reason is if you made a mistake and dragged it on from one to another, but you wanted to go to a different one. You don't want to notify them that. That gives you that little extra safety net. Now, I know that there's other reasons that you might not want to send the email. It's not a one-size-fits-all statement. I get that. But I will say that this is one of the, I was going to say subtle, but it's not even subtle. It's a not so subtle thing that you can do to really connect with your customers in digital world. And of course, with a nice pandemic infested world, everyone's relying so much on that email communication and all of those updates. I really want to stress that this is one of the ways that you can help make those website transactions a little bit friendlier, staying in touch with your customers, and they'll appreciate those little nudges that says, oh, good, it just went from point A to point B. It went from point B to point C. And that's just one way that you can use the technology on your website to keep your customers up to date. Does it take a little extra effort? Not really, not much. It takes just to slide it from one to the other every time that job changes into a new position. And the tiny, tiny, tiny bit of effort that it takes results in that email that all of a sudden, that's one of those things that sets you apart from your competitors that aren't doing that. A competitor might just say, oh, good, I finished that job today, and I'll send them a quick email that said it's ready. Versus this way, where they're getting those regular status updates, and every step along the way, they're getting that really nice formatted email that makes you look professional because you are professional. That's what wins people over.
And they're automated, so you don't have to think about it. It's less that you have to spend on. And so for this example, to finish it out, if I select yes, it will say a little bit different message. Your email has been sent. And if I was to look in my email, it would have the logo of the print shop, and it would say, so-and-so changed the status of your job, and then give them the opportunity to click from their email to go right to their account, exactly to the area where this job resides. So kind of full circle there. Again, like Dave said, it probably would be best to notify them, but use this to your advantage to help our automated systems send updates and help you to continue on to keep on printing your jobs there. So if I go back to here, this is where I left off. I could certainly select create a new job, and I could just say test job status if I want to, and add job status. You can move around this new job status in any way that you would like. I'm gonna go back to that job and refresh my workflow order here, and somewhere in here should be that test one that I moved, just to show you that live update. And here we are, test job status. That shows up automatically right away. So it's pretty nice that it's a quick update for you as well. If you happen to forget one, you need to edit one, it will show up right away. It would also show up in my print buyer if I happen to refresh their account, but I have a feeling that might take a little bit, and I know we're getting short on time, so I want to respect the time that we're taking up as well. So
I did see a
how are
couple
we
people
doing?
drift in here since we talked about the first part about promotional codes. So if that's you, I would encourage you, after we get this published online, to go back and rewind that, watch promotional codes, and of course, to get this wonderful Hawaii trivia that Tricia and I presented out here.
There you go. Yeah, you need to learn about Alaska and Hawaii there. So what we're going to do is call it a day, I think, and there's plenty more to go through. And of course, we do not want to rush through. These are pretty important in the e-commerce settings, so we just might go through a couple more next week. We'll just see what we go through. But until then, everyone have a good rest of your week and a really good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care.